Hey folks, Michael with Raccoon City Pinball here. I've been playing around a little bit with my camera setup in the arcade today, and I've been trying to determine if it's kind of worth throwing out my my camcorder and replacing that with a G85 with a kind of a pancake zoom lens. And I've been sort of like just comparing the quality and such, right? And that I've also compared against my reference camera, which is a Panasonic GHM2 with the 1235 lens, which is not the it's not even the nice 1235 lens. So and I got the pancake lens, the 1442, which is very compact, and that would go really good on a G85 camera, right? And my trusty steed, the Panasonic V785K, has been a very good workhorse for me. But the thing is, it's a camcorder, and it has its limitations and all that good stuff, right? So let me just kind of kick it off here and show you some comparisons here. So this is the camcorder, this is the reference in the middle, and then we have the G85 on the right here, right? And it's very difficult to kind of compare cameras, right? Because you can't get them at the exact same angle and such. So it's sort of like my reference camera hangs where it always hangs, and then I have the left and right kind of hanging there, right? Let me just turn off the... yeah, sorry, the setup here is a little bit goofy, so I'm just going to turn off the text there. And now we can kind of examine these a little bit closer, right? So if we just kind of look at them as it is right now, you can't really see that much of a difference. You can see that obviously the reference picture, the reference camera has a really great colors. It might be a little bit dark, but that is something that's kind of easy adjustable. But that's what it is on my display here that I'm kind of watching it on anyway, right? And you can see that the camcorder on the left is a little bit kind of like blurry and kind of muddy, right? And the G85 does not quite have the brilliance as the center one, right? And I've sort of like done some adjustments here and there, and to kind of make it look better, to kind of make it representable against the reference camera. And I just noticed that the G85 had a lot of kind of problems to kind of like autofocus, which is a little bit annoying, right? So you kind of need to just kind of touch the display to make sure it focuses on the right things and stuff, right? And the camcorder does not have any such issues, right? And my reference camera I always run with manual focus anyway, right? So that's nothing, and that's just something I do at home and like all that good stuff. So it doesn't really matter that much, right? So if we kind of go in the details here, I'm just going to pause here while we kind of pan around here. Like another kind of detail is as well, like all cameras are kind of shot with 1080p 60, right? So there's no kind of cheating on the reference camera here. It's being fed 1080p to my recorder, right? So but you can see that there's really nice kind of contrast, and one kind of detail you can see here, that you can kind of see that this is a Phillips head screw, for instance, right here. There's no doubt about it, right? And if you go over to G85 and kind of look at the same detail, yeah, it's not quite in the same place. You can see like, yeah, there's some kind of screw head, right? And you can't quite make it out, and some of the text is not as clear either, right? And looking at the yeah, sorry about the scrolling here, this is just what it's going to be like. You can kind of sort of discern a little bit of a cross there, but not quite, right? And you can also see here, like on the camcorder, it's just like the colors are a little bit muddy. It's not as high contrast and such, right? And I've been thinking about kind of like, can I do something to the palette, to apply some filter in OBS to kind of just like increase the contrast a little bit, right? So the black is like proper black and such, right? But it doesn't have as much high dynamic range, right? Because the sensor in the camcorder is not larger than a sensor that you have in a cell phone, right? And this is pretty much what you're gonna get, right? So you get really modeled, and you get some kind of patterns in the in some of the details here, because the very low, very tiny sensor, right? And let's see here what else you can kind of discern here. Yeah, there's a lot of noise in general, kind of in the video, right, between the flippers there. You can see. Yeah, there was a tilt there. Yeah, you can see here it's just a bunch of noise, and typically there's noise in the reference camera as well, but it's not as distinguished, right? You can't really make it out, right? And the noise that is there, the encoder for Twitch and YouTube kind of smooth it out a lot, right? Looking at the G85 here, got some noise. It's a little bit whited out here. It's a little bit too bright for some reason, and getting the colors right is probably easier on this one. I just think it's a little bit too bright, and if you just kind of like tone it down a little bit, I think it would be fine, right? So I'm not quite sure like what to do in this situation, to be honest. I just kind of like, I spent some time on this, and I just kind of wanted to showcase the differences between the cameras, right? And obviously the price range here is the camcorder and the G85. You could probably get away with like the same amount of money with that particular lens I have for it. But the thing is that the camcorder is just so much more lightweight, and it's just so much easier to kind of have in a mobile setup, because that's all I'm evaluating this for, basically, right? While the G85 is sort of like, yeah, it's a really advanced kind of micro four thirds camera with removable lens and such, right? And it has much more advanced features, etc. But the autofocus was just like horrible on it. It just doesn't work, right? And it is the continuous autofocus that I'm talking about, right? Because the G85 I kind of used as a player camera for many years now, right? And I always use them with my kind of fixed focus fisheye lenses, or at a certain depth, so that it's never been. I never used it for autofocus at any capacity whatsoever, right? So that's why it's worked really well for that, right? And having it a little bit more brighter as it is right now kind of was a bit beneficial for a player camera, I guess. Yeah, let's just dive in there and see if we can see any more fun details. There's a lot of color kind of going on in this kind of general area around the spider and the pterodactyl, the flasher, and the water and everything there, right? And I don't know, like, is it worth kind of like recabling the harnesses and getting this camera in here, because it has a lot of focus, kind of a lot over the entire kind of playfield, right? Once you kind of get all the focusing right, and once you kind of hit the autofocus while you have the camera hovering over the playfield, it kind of locks in pretty nice. That's what I've done here, right? And it kind of looks pretty good, right? And one of the benefits here is obviously that you get a little bit better kind of a little bit better contrast, right? Okay, it looks a little bit washed out here now because all the lights here, but if you kind of compare this particular image here, now we have like Kong kind of all dark in this particular area, and then you switch over to, let's see here, reference image, really nice and dark there, and you look at the camcorder, is kind of a little bit kind of like muddled and washed out, and it's kind of like, it's almost like this like a gray tint on it. And I did notice, there's another detail that's kind of annoying with the camcorder, I'd say, is the auto white balance. It's really difficult to kind of dial in. You kind of have to set it for every environment you're in, and otherwise it kind of looks like crap. And like my last California Extreme, I did not like spend a lot of time on getting the auto white balance or setting the white balance correctly, and most of the games just look like shit, right? And I think that is less of a problem going with the G85. I can't see that there's anything wrong with the white balance here. I probably should have had a little bit lower or higher aperture to kind of get it a little bit darker. But other than that, I think like you can read all the text here. It's like really nice and relatively focused for being such a cheap little camera. But yeah, there you have it. I'll just get the logos in there again if you want to check it out. To be quite honest, I'm not any wiser on it. The thing is, I'm sort of weighing getting a kind of a newer, hotter kind of camcorder, but given I have so many cameras lying around, I just feel I should use whatever I have. But I'm going to see if I can fit the G85 in my kit and run with that for a while and see how I feel about it. That's kind of where my stomach is right now. But yeah, the camcorder is just so damn convenient. Let's just put it that way. All right. Anyhow, I shall see you soon.